Welcome to the Life Engineering Podcast. My name is Gabriela Embon, former chemical engineer, relationship coach, and author. In each episode, we'll uncover the wisdom, strategies, and tools to help you build thriving relationships and purpose-driven careers. My wish is that something shared in this space touches your heart, brings clarity, or gently guides you toward what you need most in your life right now. Thank you for being here. Let's begin now. Welcome back to another episode of the Life Engineering Podcast, where we explore what it truly means to create a life of no regrets in our work, in our relationships, and in our alignment with purpose. I'm your host, Gabriela Embon, relationship coach and author of Becoming a Power Couple, 4 Pillars to Engineer Legendary Marriages. Today, I'm honored to welcome someone whose leadership, whose philosophy, values, and career path deeply align with the mission of this podcast. Chad Learmond, partner at Amplify Solutions CRM Strategies, sales leader, entrepreneur, and someone who has over 25 years of experience helping organizations transform the way they operate. But here's the thing. What impresses me most about Chad is not just his expertise. It's his clarity, his humility, and the alignment between his professional life and his personal values. Chad, welcome to our podcast. I'm so happy to have you here.
Yeah, I am so excited to be here, Gabriela. Loved our conversations to this point and really looking forward to our chat today.
Me too. This is going to be a good one. And we'll let the audience in. We usually have more private conversations, so I can't wait.
Absolutely.
You spent more than 25 years in leadership roles, Chad, in roles like leadership, sales, operations, entrepreneurship, and now becoming a force in CRM transformation. But for those who are just meeting you, can you take us back to what shaped you as a leader? What were those moments that define your leadership philosophy?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it probably goes back to the very beginning, and we've had some conversations about this of being raised by a military father. So, obviously the military has very strong leadership values. I was raised in a household of your character is the foundation of everything you do. Your word is your bond. There's certain non-breakable tenets to, how we operate as human beings. So I think I got to trace it back to, the very beginning with my father and my mother, which were amazing people, and it really empowered me to think that I could do anything. So, I had a great start to my journey. And then when I got into the world of customer service, sales, it really became about trying to treat people like they wanted to be treated, having that respect and that foundation together to work together on problems, communicate well, respect each other, come from a place of servant leadership, being humble. And, I was blessed with some leaders that were amazing in that areas. And I think we've all had those experiences too with leaders that you look at and you go, okay, yeah, I don't know if I would handle it that way. So doing the jobs, seeing leaders do things that, some of the things you love, some of the things, you're not as in love with, and you go, okay, what would I do as a leader when I hopefully earn that opportunity? So, there became a time where I did get that opportunity, and it's like, okay, now's the time to try those things that you think you didn't like, and even that's an evolution, right? So I think my leadership style has really been forged by my parents, blessings of some very capable and high performing friends, amazing people in my life, and some great leaders where I said, you know what, I love the way you do this. I'm going to emulate that. And then, once you have that experience and you realize that you have to add your own personal element to it. Everyone has their style and you can copy that style, but you have to stay true to yourself. And I think that's something that I continue to learn as I'm in, I guess, my second decade of this. But it's been an amazing ride, and I'm looking forward to what comes next.
Wow. A few things that you mentioned, really stay with me. First, you said your parents taught you treat people the way you want to be treated. We have this joke that if you want to summarize the entire Bible, the Old Testament, in one sentence, it's simply love people the way you want to be loved.
Yes.
I can say that sentence in Spanish, but I'm not going to. But what I also love about your story, and that you casually just share that you came across many leaders, you learn from them, and you said, well, when I get a chance, I want to do things better or maybe differently. So for me, that means that you are a leader because you care. There's a strong why. I want to make things better.
Hmm.
In a leadership position, I have more leadway to do things better, because I find that many leaders, when you ask them why do you want to become a leader, is for external reasons, for the validation, for the money, for the recognition.
Hmm.
That's external motivation. Internal motivation is, no, I want to make a difference.
Yeah,
That's
for
what
sure.
I hear from your words, your why.
Well, I think your why evolves.
That's for sure.
I would be lying to you if I said that some of the things you talked about weren't some of my initial motivations to get into leadership position, of course, right? I mean, it's nice to have a higher position, it's nice to make more money, it's nice to have higher visibility in the organization. Definitely probably strokes your ego need a little bit, but I think what you learn quickly is that those things, while nice to haves, really don't drive your own happiness if you just look at it a bit selfishly. It's like when I come to work, what makes me feel the best? What gets the best out of the team? And that is the and what I have learned, the hard way is, you know, what really matters, which is surrounding yourself with people you truly believe in. Once you've, checked that box off, then it's like, okay, then how do I empower these people? How do I give them the tools, resources, maybe my expertise or guidance to make them the best possible versions of themselves? And then, yeah, how do I work and collaborate with them? To me, I've been blessed to have that happen to me a couple times in my career, and that is just the most amazing thing. Like it is so rewarding to show up to work and work with people you truly believe in, that are invested in each other and want to do great things not only at work but personally too. It's like, okay, we're going to be great people, we're going to be guided by doing the right things, having character, but we're also going to have success with that. And I think that's,
Mm.
especially in the world of selling, which gets a bit of a bad rap at times, and rightly so. There's some reasons why people see the profession the way they do, but that has been something I've been very passionate about. Is no, we're going to do the right things, and we're going to be successful doing the right things.
There you go. That's your military father. All those values, right?
Yeah.
We're going to come from alignment to our values. I love that. Love that. I mean, this podcast is all about alignment and engineering a life where your work, your values, and your well-being are not fighting each other but reinforcing each other. And that's what I believe you just share. And I know this is something you're very intentional about. So I want to ask you a more personal question. How do you personally approach, for the lack of a better expression, work-life harmony or work-life balance?
Harmony is probably the best way to look at it. People call balance, however you want to describe it. This has always been pretty easy for me, to be honest. It's because my character drives everything I do. For me, it's like my character, to me, it's important to me that my marriage being, well, really the first tenet in my life is my health. I can't do anything without my health. So that's pillar one. Pillar two for me is my marriage. My marriage has got to be in good shape minimum for me to be the best version of myself with my children, with my career, with everything else that surrounds it. So, so for me, when you approach it like that, it's like, okay, well, again, I make sure the foundation is set. I've got an amazing wife who supported me through my career. I'm very blessed to have her in my life. And, that has just led to me feeling free to go to the workplace and do the things that I think are necessary. I think part of that is is this mantra is something that I learned many, many years ago is that of return on time invested. It's like,
Mm,
okay, are the things that I'm doing matter? At work, at home, relationship, whatever that is actually affecting positive, reinforcement, change, whatever it is. So At work, I'm very diligent about doing the things that matter. I'm not perfect. I mean, we all have our moments, right? But when I've made commitments, it's time to go. It's time to go. And unless there is a legit emergency and it has to be defined in a certain criteria, then I am leaving the office, or in my case, my home office, and I'm going upstairs to spend that time with my family. So I'm very structured around, okay, this is how that's going to work. But on the flip side, and I've taken roles where I was away for, I think it was 22 straight weeks. But my wife and I made that decision coming in. So we collaborate on those decisions consistently that we're both aligned on what the vision for our family and our relationship is. And I think that's been so beneficial for me from just like my definition of success, which is, the happiness and success of my career, my family, the people around me. And it's kind of like a guiding North Star for me. It's like I just know, like, okay, I've worked too much. I know when that's happening. So now it's time to take that teeter totter and take it back to even. It's a constant balance of that. Okay, I'm giving a little too much to my career here. I need to be aware of that. I need to have a high level of self awareness. Now I'm going to go and spend time and invest good quality time with the people that I love.
Music to my ears. I will, everything you said. I love how you said we make decisions together,
Hmm.
that there's that common vision that you are leading one life that includes your career, her career, your children. And it's not that that career and family are two separate forces competing with each other. They are two parts of one mission, and there are two co-founders in this mission, so decisions are made together. I think this is so important. And because we feel we're in this together, we can support each other. So if you need to go away for 22 weeks,
Yeah.
then I'll support you, because this is your success and your happiness is mine, right? So
Yes.
it's one mission. Absolutely wish more and more couples would understand that the purpose of committed relationships is unity, is actually to maximize your potential by creating this partnership, this unity, and understanding that together you can do more than what you could do on your own.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. And I think that, it's when you look at this, it's again, it is unity. You are together. This is all encompassing, right? So I've really always struggled when I hear people talk about these things in business. I'll use a business term here. So silos. People talk about silos
Mm.
consistently, right? Accounting doesn't talk to operations. Sales doesn't talk to finance or IT. We have these silos, these breakdown in communications, but then like, oh, we're really focused on fixing this at work. And then I hear them talk about their marriage. And it's like, well, she does this, I do this. She has a separate bank account, I have a separate bank account. And everything is siloed. And I kind of in my head going, I don't know if you understand like how ironic this is right now, but you're working so passionately to create this culture change at work. Yet you have this massive problem right here, and it's on display. And I think, and that's where people, I think they are very good at compartmentalizing things. And to your point, it's not, there isn't a unity. It's like, no, these things have to be in lockstep. And that, and that's an evolution, right? It really is. I think, I'm in my 50s now. I'm a different person in my 50s than I was in my 40s, and I'm sure I will be different in my 60s and 50s and 70s and 60s, etc. But what I have learned is now I have the wisdom, right, of living life and trying different things and seeing how they work and how they don't work to go, you know what, I can't just have this my career working or being successful, because that is one component, but I need these pillars firing at a 7 out of 10 at all times. And if it drops below a 7, then it requires my attention. And that's kind of how I look at that. You're never going to get to a 10 out of 10. Just don't bother. I'll tell you that right now. However, if you are aware of those pillars and where you're at, and I mean objectively where you're at, like going, okay, I know in my heart that this requires some investment of time or energy or whatever it is right now, and you go and do that. I think, yeah, that's to me what becomes the success of life.
Beautiful. After all, we have one nervous system. We
Yeah.
can divide it into this is my nervous system for work and this is my nervous system for family. We have
Yeah.
one. So the way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I've had, anybody that's had the gift of leadership, I guarantee you, if it hasn't happened to you yet, it will happen where somebody on your team comes to you and tells you that they're getting divorced. And I can tell you with nearly 100% correlation, I saw a dip in their work performance months in advance of that, if not years, depending on the term of the employee. And you're like, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then the people that are happy and they talk about the rest of their life and they're just, they're high performers. They just bring that energy into every aspect of their life, and you could see it on full display. And I love to see that.
It's lovely. Actually, I had such a pleasant surprise for the holidays. My husband had a party or a dinner with his team and at a restaurant, and we all attended with their spouses, and I was so pleasantly surprised to see that everybody's in a committed relationship,
Nice.
and spouses were there. And I told him, when we walk out of the restaurant, I said it was so nice to not just meet your team but their spouses, and
Yes.
one couple even came with a young baby. Yeah, we are the oldest. We're also in our 50s. And you could see. Actually, you know what? Some of them were sharing how they met their spouses. It was so refreshing, but it's quite rare, I have to tell you.
I was going to say, I have never been to an event where every single person I looked at them and went, yeah, they seem to be doing well. They seem like a good match. They're happy. Yeah, that's amazing. That's so cool. If you're anything like me and my wife, I've gotten better at this, but because I've been in sales for so long and I have a passion for, you know, being the best in my profession, and there's a certain standard there. When I go out to buy things, my wife dreads that because she's like, well, you know that they're not going to do it to your standard. And I said, well, that's not necessarily true, honey. And I'm really trying to be patient. But do you find that being in, like, as a relationship coach, that you see that immediately? And yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of that would be, that'd be interesting.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to change a little bit gears and talk about CRM leadership, but from the perspective as a human leadership.
Hmm.
Maybe you can explain what CRM is, just making sure we're all on the same page. And people often think about CRM as technology, pure technology, but in your world, it's also about people.
Hmm.
And I
Yes.
know this is your approach at Amplify Solutions, and it's quite unique, right? Because you not only focus on the system, but on the humans. So can you share more about that, please?
Yeah, I'd love to. So CRM is an oft used word that few people understand. It stands for customer relationship management. So that is the process of winning business, of, like, I'll use some of the terminology here, where you engage with a potential customer, being a lead, and then move them through a defined process of hopefully winning them as a customer, and then the maximization of the relationship as you have them as a customer. So it's really all about providing a superior experience for that prospect and that customer through the customer life cycle. Now, I said the word customer a lot in that for a reason, because that is the focus. And I think, where CRMs have gotten a bit of a bad name is because it's become a little more of a micromanagement tool years ago of just straight metrics. And that's reactive metrics after the fact of saying, okay, we don't think you're doing these right things. And it's a little more punitive in nature, a little more stick than carrot, than using that as a true enablement tool in a job to say, sit down with a sales team or the people that are in the field doing the work to say, how can we help you do the job better? How can I give you a better tool so you can be more successful in what you do and enjoy your job more? And that is really driven, my mindset there is really driven from going back to the early 2000s when I had to use my first CRM, which was designed by the IT department, never had sales involvement, and really was a nuisance and didn't provide any value to the rep themselves to do the job better. And I swore if I ever had the chance to lead, and ironically now being in the CRM world, that I would design tools. I would be very passionate about designing tools that truly helped people be successful. Now, The thing that I love about this is that in the past, when you think about the traditional hierarchical relationship between a manager and employee, it was quite reactive. It's something happened, and then later on, you're going, "Oh, why did that happen?" And it's kind of already done. You've cooked the dinner. It's over, right? We lost that business. This didn't happen. Whatever it ends up being, we lost that lead. We're talking to the wrong people. That a thing that I'm very passionate about, and Amplify is very passionate about, is like, okay, no, we're going to provide the data uh, in the most simplified and automated way possible. So the rep is, in this case, is not spending hours and hours and hours a week in data entry. They're actually going to be doing the things that they want to do, which is the client relationship maximization, spending time strategically thinking about their business, how they can do it better. And we're going to reduce that admin load significantly. And we're going to provide good data to come into conversations with our peers,
Mm,
with leadership, in a collaborative way to say the data is showing us that we're doing great here, but we're struggling here. So as a team, we're now going, okay, so let's talk about the problems or challenges that we're experiencing around that particular part of what we're doing, and let's collaborate on potential solutions. So it becomes much more of a collaboration mentality than a kind of top down metric driven stick going, okay, why didn't you do this? And that is why salespeople, if they dislike CRM, that is generally why. It's like the analogy I use is like putting a loaded gun in the wrong hands.
mm.
If you give a sales manager who is more dictatorial, more punitive, that type of data, they will take that data and use it in a fashion. But if you have great leadership, you're collaborative, you take the time to hire the right people, you truly believe in them, you then have all of the data for success. And we can work together to say, okay, how are we going to solve for our business challenges based on data, not emotion?
Oh, that's that on its own is huge, based on data and not emotions.
Yeah. Yeah, because people, when I talk to people about being in professional selling for years, there's always this level of like witchcraft or voodoo they think that goes on in our world. And I laugh and I love to show them the system and say, you know what, actually, it's very scientific the way that we approach things. And the data shows us every step of the way how we're doing. And that's how we refine. That's how we craft our messaging. That's how we craft our conversations. That's how we ultimately craft the product to meet or solve a problem. So we have all those things. So again, it's not that, oh, I feel like we're not doing well here. Well, let's take a look at the data. It's like, no, actually, we're doing really well here. But ironically, we're not doing as well over here as we thought. So maybe we should take a look at that and take some of our best practices and try and maximize them over here. It becomes much more positive in nature, much more collaborative, proactive. And we've seen, we have demonstrated ROI, a return on investment of 5.8 times every dollar spent. So we're very passionate about providing a great solution that the user loves to use, that the clients have a superior experience in prospects, and that returns that investment to you.
So when you provide this solution to a team or an organization, do you also coach them how to approach the data in a very collaborative, without drama, just looking at
Yeah,
the facts? Because I can see how what you said. If you give this gun to the wrong person, it could become, right,
yeah.
dangerous. Do you provide that human coaching, on that leadership coaching of communication and collaboration and coordination as well?
Yes. So that is where, value proposition is an oft used word, probably not understand well. It's really what makes you truly unique. And that's what I think makes us truly unique is we've got a team of very experienced people that come in, and myself included, where I have been in every position in sales you can think of. I've been in operational leadership, business ownership. I can see this from a lot of different lenses. I've rolled these systems out. I've led performance with them. And I've learned a lot of hard lessons through that, right? So when we're talking to people that are going, okay, well, there's some resistance internally. How do we structure this? How do we communicate this? And I'm like, well, this is how you're going to look at that. It's going to be proactive. This is how the approach is going to be. We're going to have a committee of people that are going to have input. We're consistently revising and improving the system. That people are involved, there's collaboration, they have input, and they're going to see the success and the time savings and how to be more effective in their role. And that's where a ton of our guidance comes from. Is like, okay, this is CRM best practices. This is the best practices that we've seen in business. And then the other thing that I think that makes us unique is we have some amazing partners around us that can also check boxes if you need some more process, you need some structure in hiring, you need different candidate evaluation, you need to create your value proposition. So we can come in and say, listen, we actually feel like there's a gap here. This isn't a CRM issue. We have a gap here that needs to be fixed foundationally. Let's get that fixed. And then we can bring in CRM to reinforce that. So we really we come from a value-based approach of trying to identify the issue. And sometimes that isn't CRM. And we point those people in the right direction. But it goes back to the foundation of doing the right things. We're not going to give you advice that we don't think is going to actually provide value or help solve the issues you're trying to solve.
When you're talking about CRM, I can't help it but bring it to my world of relationships, right? And I don't know whether it's righteously or not, it got me thinking about financial transparency.
Yes.
So sometimes I ask clients, well, we have a hard time. We don't have shared accounts and we have a hard time tracking our expenses even. And I said, well, that's actually quite simple. If you open a WhatsApp group, and it's a tip that is in my book, you open a WhatsApp group, the two of you, every time you spend $1, doesn't matter, $1 or more at the dollar store, you write the date, the place, and the amount. And you could see the resistance. What? Then they're going to tell why you're spending. Is no. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose is not, like you said, punitive. Let's say, why did you spend that? It's actually so we can see where we can track our expenses, because what you then do, I do that in my family, is I take that WhatsApp group and I put it on an Excel sheet. So I have an idea of where we are on a weekly basis and on a monthly basis and on a yearly basis.
Yes.
So that transparency allows for course correction. It allows for optimization and also making decisions together. It's not to control each other, but that's somehow the parallel that my brain was drawn to when you were talking about looking at the data with CRM.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about a CRM in the simplest form.
Yes.
There, right? It really is. I mean, early level CRMs were just about organizational visibility of like, okay, if a customer service rep talks to a customer just before a sales rep goes in and they're extremely unhappy and the sales rep is coming in to sell them more, well, they get completely blindsided. They're like, well, I'm here. Hi, Gabriella. I'm here today to talk about the expansion of our relationship. Gabriella, our relationship is not in good place. You guys screwed up 2 times in the last 2 days and you come in blindsided. It sets you back significantly versus, Gabriella, I saw today that you ran into this challenge and I've done some research on it. I've talked to our operations team. I've got the solution for you. This is the corrective action and we take this very seriously. Oh, wow. Now you guys are really on top of things. That's amazing. Love that plan. Yeah. And can we agree that that is a suitable solution for this issue? Yeah, absolutely, Gabriella. Perfect. Can we move on then to talk about that expanded business we were talking? Absolutely love to do that. 2 totally different experiences.
Totally. You're coming from a place of understanding and unity,
Yes.
not from a place of winning or separation.
Exactly. Winning. I mean, that's the conversation we could have another podcast, is like removing the need to win. It's like, what is define winning? But when you go back to the separated bank accounts as an example, it's like, to me, and I know you do this and I've seen you do it and I love it. It's like, okay, we need to get some alignment. And it is like, can we agree that we want a great marriage? Yes. Okay. So what do we think the tenets, what do we think the principles of that marriage look like? Let's talk about that. And it's amazing at the top level how that alignment is so easy. And then when you start to peel that onion and get down, and then they're like looking at it going, well, if transparency and trust is a key tenet of this, then would it be fair to say that you should probably have full financial transparency as well? Well, that would make sense. Yeah.
Chad, I'm starting to feel that maybe a career change could be suitable for you. You would make a great relationship coach. We can talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk offline about that. But I mean, it's funny though. But sales is, you nailed it. It's related, like CRM, customer relationship management. It's about maximizing the relationship on both sides of that. And I think that's one of the things that I love that sales has taught me is to look at the other perspective, gain, really seek to understand. It's a Stephen Covey thing that I live by is, when I'm having these conversations, it's like, no, I'm turning off my presumptive kind of winning mindset. I need to win this conversation to, no, I need to shut this off, take every assumption I have and flush it down the toilet. And I need to ask a question and truly listen to the answer. Then take us some whatever time is necessary to formulate what I'm going to say next. And I think that is such a huge skill in sales, which is really relationships, and a huge skill in marriage, children, whoever you're talking to. And this has been a game changer for me personally. Or just recently, I had a conversation with somebody very passively over about 20 minutes. And I found out through a friend, they said, "What did you say to this person?" And I didn't really say anything. I asked them some questions, I was very curious about a few things about them. And they said to my friend that it was the best conversation they had ever had in their life. And in my head, I'm going, that just doesn't seem right. That if that little
That is sad.
interaction of actually, that person obviously felt heard at a level, which I'm happy because that's the way I wanted to make people feel, that was like a once in a lifetime conversation for them. It saddens me, but it gives me hope for what's possible. And that's one of the things that I love about you is like you come in and you take a look at this and you're like, okay, we want legendary relationships. And I love the use of that term, legendary marriage, legendary relationships. And how do we get to that place? And giving people that kind of engineered, structured way of going about that. Because I truly believe that we're so much more alike than different, that most of us want the same things. It's just a lot of us don't know how to get there.
Absolutely. Such a beautiful way of putting that. Everybody wants to feel loved,
Yes.
connected. Nobody wants to feel lonely, that's for sure. Yeah.
No, I know some of the biggest introverts in the world, and when they've opened up to me, they're lonely. And it's like, okay, I get it. And you try and give them some things to think about and how they can make change there. But yeah, I love that.
Yes, I think that I don't like to say in today's world, it makes me feel old and like I'm preaching, but I'm
Yeah,
not. But
yeah,
but
yeah,
what I mean to say is that we're a lot after gratification also in relationships and in business. And gratification is great and needed. We need gratification, but gratification is the feeling of satisfaction when you get something. It's usually because something was given to you, you did it, you went dancing, you wanted to go dancing, you created something, you received something. So it's external. But we can't just sustain relationships only on gratification. What is more foundational is relational joy. And relational joy, whether it's at home or at work or with your customers, not just your employees, is when you feel connection, true connection, when you feel we are in this together and you can look at difficult days and challenging times and you look at each other, you laugh and you do what you need to do because you laugh because you know you're in this together.
yes,
And that's much more foundational. It's not also fleeting. Gratification has an expiry date of energy.
I,
But yes, I mean, we
yeah.
could talk about this for a long time.
I just
So
would add,
we're
if I can, I can add one thing there just very quickly. And I think the thing that comes to mind there is massively empowering. It's like when you believe that you have somebody beside you that's going to go to war with you every day and believes in you and loves you, then I don't know, I feel like every day I can conquer anything because of the belief system, the people around me, the support systems. And that is so critically important.
absolutely. That's the goal. That's the goal of unity. That's
Yeah.
the goal of the power couple
Yeah.
or power relationships at work. You can conquer more than what you could do on your own.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I agree.
So I want to ask you a more personal question, because we're here all about creating a life of no regrets. This is our mission. I'm curious to know What values guide your decisions in your leadership, in your business, in your
Hmm.
relationships, in your personal life as a father, as a husband, as a leader?
Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because I've had I would say, I don't know, convoluted the word, an interesting relationship with religion through my life. A Christian, being Christian, and I think one of the things I'm really thankful for is the guidance of those things through my life. Whether I kind of veered off a little bit, came back, is the Ten Commandments. So just again, treat people. Well, my new saying is treat people like they want to be treated, but this is a similar concept. Doing the right things, honoring your word, being a good person, and I think those are the things that be a man for others is something that I took from my previous employer, which I love. I just love that. It's like, okay, if I if that is guiding all of my behavior, it just becomes very simple. Honestly, there's this beauty in the simplicity of saying that's just something I don't do. It does like I just don't do that. Like if I say I'm going to be there, I will be there. That's just really not up for negotiation. If I'm not going to be there, I'm going to let you know because again, that's the guiding foundation of my character. And I think that's again going back to what we talked about earlier is when you have that cemented that character and things have become clearer to me as I've gotten older and I've gained some experience and wisdom. It's like, okay, no, I just know that this is the way that I need to operate for me to feel good about myself, to be the best version of myself, and to empower and make the people better around me. And if I stick true to that, I'm in great shape. And life has taught me I'm human. I have veered from that at times. And every time it comes back to haunt me. It's like, okay, I knew it. I saw it. I just thought it was the shiny red button. I wanted to press it. I went over and against my better judgment, I did it. And whether that be tomorrow, the next month, next year, I look back and go, I shouldn't have done that. And and I think that's the beautiful thing about getting older is like, and you do try not to be preachy, but there is wisdom is earned, right? And it's like, okay, I have spent enough time and tried so many things and had all these experiences that I would say that I have a really good foundation of my behavior, of how I'm going to act, and that helps me be successful and happy.
Mm, so beautiful. So beautiful. There's a lot of grace in your words. Final question. Although I
Sure.
could be asking you so many, but I'm going to stop myself.
Yeah, sure.
If you don't mind sharing, what are you still learning? What's the next edge of
Yeah.
your own growth?
Yeah, for sure. We talked about a bit about this earlier, but I'm a passionate person. Yeah, when I do something, I'm can get a little obsessive about it. I want to do it to the best of my ability. Um, I would say in my 20s and 30s, I lacked patience, the ability to slow down. I'm all about, and I think that's the salesperson in me. I see something, I want to conquer it, right? It's like, okay, I want to win in that sense, right? That's where I continue to work on slowing myself down, considering as many factors as I can around the decision, short term, midterm, long term implications, thinking with more of a mid to long term lens, what's beneficial for me, for my team, for the company. And I think that's something that I'm going to struggle with my whole life because it's innately burning inside of me. And I thought that fire would diminish to some degree as I got older, but it's still in there. I've just learned how to manage it a bit more.
I don't think you want it to diminish.
Yeah, no, I don't. And what it's taught me is, I think the other thing too is growing up in a military family. Like I moved every 2 to 3 years.
Mm,
So I was always the new kid. And that's, I think, what helped me create relationships because it's when you're the new kid, nobody's coming to say, hey, Chad, let's be best friends because they already have a group. So it's up to you to break into those circles. But it's like, okay, when I look at that and I look at the skill sets that has given me, it's like when I look at that passion and that fire, like, okay, no, this is the foundation of who I am. And it has served me well. So, again, just be aware, have a high level of self-awareness, understand the yin and the yang to that personality characteristic, and try and do your best every day. Because again, we're not robots, but that's the beauty of being innately human. And I think that the way that we connect to each other, like nothing is more attractive to me than an authentic human being. I love authenticity. And when I see it on full display, man, it's just, that's somebody that I want to start talking to.
Well, I want to thank you for sharing everything you've shared and this last piece, because I know we talk about passion in our previous conversation, but what I didn't share with you is that I share that, if you might say, characteristic with you. I'm a very passionate person, and I know this is the one thing I cannot live without. I cannot go through my days without passion.
Yeah.
And whatever I do, I have to feel passion.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I did the career change at a certain point. But I find that inability to, or as I say, I have the inability to compromise or less than extraordinary for me. When I say extraordinary, I don't mean it has to be the best or the richest or the biggest. I mean for me. And for me, extraordinary means that whatever it is, I feel passion for it.
Yes.
So I find that this quality of mine of not wanting to compromise, it's what led me to course correct in the areas of my life, or to course correct and to improve. So what I do becomes legendary. So my relationship is legendary, right? Because I was never willing to say, oh, it's fine, it's good enough, it's mediocre, it's fine. No. And when I felt like we were getting into a too comfortable place, I'm like, oh, no, this is not what I want, right? So
Yeah.
it is what allows you to create fulfillment, alignment, and in other words, a life of no regrets.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There's a, the
It is that
fearlessness is
force.
the, yeah, it's because, I think one of the things that as you get older, unfortunately, my mom has passed. I've had quite a few of my family pass, but it's amazing to see the difference in people that are unfortunately at the end of their life that have a lot of regrets and the people that do not. It's a very, very different thing. And man, and it has taught me. I've lived my life that way for the most part, but that has given me clarity to say, yeah, I do not want to get to the end of this journey and go, I wish, I wish, I wish.
Exactly. Beautiful force. Passion is a beautiful force. So own it.
Thank you. I'll think of you the next time I'm trying to push it down more than I should.
Well, Chad, thank you so much for this beautiful conversation. Before we say thank you to you and to our audience, please, can you share where people can learn more about your company, yourself?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So our website is www.amplify-solutions.ca. You can also email me at chad@amplify-solutions.ca, or I'm on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me there. And, yeah, I'd love to hear from like-minded people with questions. It doesn't have to be CRM related. I'm always trying to sharpen the saw in every area of my life. And I'm very passionate about being surrounded by great people. So love for you to reach out and love to connect with you.
Beautiful. We're going to have all the links in the show notes. This has been such a rich conversation, not just about CRM or business, but about leadership, values, alignment, and the courage to build a life you're passionate about. You're
Yeah,
passionate
really.
and proud about.
Yeah,
There you go.
really appreciate it, Gabriella. It's been an honor to be here with you today. And as usual, love our conversations.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with honesty and your sharing your heart. And to our listeners, thank you also for spending this time with us. If you want to learn more about Chad or Amplify Solutions, you'll find the links in the show notes, as I said. If today's conversation sparked something in you, please share this with someone you love. And kindly remember to subscribe to the Life Engineering Podcast so you don't miss what's coming next. And until then, keep designing a life of no regrets. See you in the next episode.